Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Josie, also known as Gemini Reads. Today I thought it'd be kind of a fun idea to do a little bit of a book tag, so I decided to do my anti-TBR book tag. This is just for funsies, so if I mention a book that you love or an author that you adore or a genre that is your entire life, I'm sorry. We all have our opinions and they're all valid, so please don't murk me off in the comments, please. Thank you. I'm a sensitive being. Okay, so I have my soy chai latte in my Sailor Moon mug. I have my cat sleeping at my feet, and I have my anti-TBR list right here. So let's just get on into it, shall we? Okay, so the first prompt is a popular book everyone loves that you have no interest in reading. And for me, that is The Love Hypothesis by Ellie Hazelwood. I don't care for it. It's just not my thing, even though it's incredibly popular. I see it everywhere, so there's people out there that love it, and that's great, but I have no interest in it, especially since I found out that it's actually a Kylo Ren and Rey fanfiction turned traditional print, and I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable. I mean, that whole kind of thing in the Star Wars movies made me incredibly uncomfortable, so I don't like it. And that's probably all I'm going to be able to think about if I read this book, and I'll just be like, oh, this makes me so fucking uncomfortable, so I'm not going to read it. And I don't want to. It's not going to happen. The second prompt is a classic book or author you don't have an interest in reading. For me, this is The Great Gatsby. I don't care about it at all. I think I was supposed to read it in high school and I never did. I don't care about it. I think because from what I know of the story, because I never even watched the movie, it's very much about the idea of the American dream, or it satirizes the American dream, and I don't care about the American dream. I'm not American, and I don't want to be American, so I don't care about it at all. The third prompt is an author whose books you have no interest in reading. This is easy. Colleen Hoover. She seems to be TikTok's darling. I see her everywhere on Instagram, on BookTube. I don't have TikTok, but you know, TikTok videos on Instagram, I see a lot of them, and there's always Colleen Hoover. I don't care about her books. I don't really find an interest in gravitating towards them. I've never looked at one of her books and just been like, I could read that. I don't care for it. It's not my thing, and that's okay. She's loved by many. Just because I don't have an interest doesn't mean anything, because she's obviously incredibly successful. A problematic author whose books you have no interest in reading. I know that a lot of people have a lot to say on reading books by problematic authors. I tend to fall on the side of, if they're problematic, I don't really find an interest in reading their books, purely because they give me the ick. If I read a book by a problematic author, I'm just like, I just feel icky, or their words feel icky to me because I don't like the author. So yeah, and that same kind of idea kind of flows into a lot of different things for me. So like musicians, if there is a really crappy musician, or like they're an awful person, I get the ick when I listen to their music, so I don't listen to their music anymore. That's just how I am. So it's very easy for me to not read books by problematic authors, whatever you may deem problematic to be. It is my own kind of perception in that of itself. But to answer the question, George R.R. Martin, I've never ever had an interest in reading his books. I've never watched Game of Thrones. I think a lot of the things in that book or the show would make me very, very uncomfortable. I don't want to read any of his books at all. I don't think I like him as a person, so I don't really want to read his books. Even if a lot of people think that, you know, he's an amazing author, that's great for you. I don't want to read his books at all. And honestly, in the beginning, I don't think they're really my ish anyway. So, yeah. An author you have read a couple of books from and have decided their books are not for you. This is actually quite recent. So yeah, Julia Quinn. I watched the second season of Bridgerton quite recently, and then I came down with a wicked cold and I read 3 of her Bridgerton books in a row in like 4 days. And I didn't really like any of them at all. They made me very uncomfortable. They all followed the same kind of formulae kind of thing, and it just wasn't for me. I didn't read the first book. I read the 3 older brothers books, and I also have never watched the first season of Bridgerton, so I only watched the second season. Yeah. And I just didn't, I hated it. It made me uncomfortable. There was a lot of kind of non-consensual vibes. Not great. I didn't enjoy it, but I know heaps of people that love her books, so that's good for you. It's good that you enjoy them. I'm happy for you. A genre you have no interest in, or a genre you tried to get into but couldn't. Poetry. I wish I had a mind that could understand and appreciate the artistry and flow of poetry, but I'm a simpleton and I don't have the ability. Every time I read poetry, I'm just like, my fucking god, this is boring. I think you need a kind of knack for being able to read between the lines and things like that, and I just don't have it. I didn't like it. I've read a few poetry books. I've read Langleaf, I've read Rupi Kaur, I've read, I have Sylvia Plath's collected poems, and I just struggle. I think I struggle because I read them like a traditional novel, so I read them front to back, when really I should just kind of try and have more of a fluidity in reading it, but that's something that I don't have the talent for, and it might just be that I need to learn how to read it in a better way. But as for now, poetry is a genre that I just can't get into. A book you have bought but will never read. I have 2 books that can fit into this prompt actually. Let me go and get them. I'll be back in a second. Okay. So the first book is Les Mis by Victor Hugo. The reason I'm not going to read this is because it's fucking huge. I've had this book since I was 16 and I have probably read up to 10 pages of it. I can't, this will take me a century to get through. So I'm never going to read it. The second one is A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. At this point in my life, I just don't think I have the mental capacity to be able to read this book and to not be extraordinarily triggered by it. I've heard heaps of people talk about it, and as of now and as into the future, as I can see, I'm just not ready for this book, and this book is not ready for me. A series you have no interest in reading, or a series you started and have DNF'd. So this is a series that I just have absolutely no interest in reading, and that is Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. I know I've said before that I would read A Court of Thorn and Roses, the series, and I will read it eventually, but I have a feeling that it won't be my thing. So I just don't have an interest in reading these kind of fairy kind of things. I don't want to. It's I just think that, and from what I've heard of it, the vibe just isn't for me. So why would I subject myself to something that I know will probably not be my thing? So yeah, I'm not gonna read it. And lastly, a new release you have no interest in reading. Not to throw this author under the bus again, but I don't really want to read To Paradise by Hanya Yanagihara. I don't know if this is going to be as triggering as A Little Life, but I don't know, to keep me sane, to keep me in a good place, to keep me mentally healthy and mentally well, I'm just gonna steer clear of all of her work. I think that she works for a lot of people, and that's wonderful, but the person that I am now, it just doesn't work for me. Her writing and her way of describing traumatic things just won't work for me at the moment. And I think it's very mature of me to know that some things just will not work for my mental capacity at the moment. Alrighty, so that is the anti-TBR book tag. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a comment, like, subscribe if you want to. I would very much appreciate it. Yeah, let me know if you agree with any of these. If you vehemently disagree with me, let me know, and why. Do you enjoy any of the books that I mentioned, or do you not? Let me know. And I will see you next week in my next video. I hope you guys have a lovely day, a lovely morning, a lovely evening, a lovely night, wherever you are and whatever time it is for you. Goodbye.